Hello, Christy here, and you're watching this because either you already purchased makeup from me or you're debating whether you want to or not and you want to learn a little more about it. Either way, super glad you're here. If you did order your makeup and it came, congrats. I'm excited for you to start this process. So you probably got your compact and hopefully you got a brush or two, and then all your tins come separately like this. So you're going to open that up. These are all magnetic. Take that lid off. You don't really need these again. Store them if you want, though. A little tip before we get too far. The name of it is on the back. So if you're like me, you might need to get your readers out to be able to see what it says. But in case you need to reorder and you can't remember what shade you are, one, you can check in your customer account by logging in, or two, take this out of the compact and look at the back, or message me. But magnetic, all you're gonna do, hard to do backwards, slide it right in place there. A lot of you wonder what order you should put these in. It's totally your preference. I do like to do all my creams on one layer and my shadows, my powders on another layer. So personally, and again, doesn't matter, I have my main, my brightening highlight, my contour, my lip and cheek, and my bronzer. But again, don't get set on a rigid way that you have to do this. So there's a couple options, whoops, of how to apply this. And one is the Cheetah Method, which I've already done on this side of my face. So you're going to, it's like paint by number for adults, and you're going to put this right in place where you need them and then blend. So I'll walk you through that. I got to grab the compact that I dropped. I'll walk you through on this side how to do brushes, and then the placement is the exact same on this side. So if you only got one brush, you might want to do the Cheetah Method and then blend with that one brush. You can also apply and blend with one brush on this side. So again, you're gonna have to play around and get a feel for what you like. So before I started all this, this is just aloe vera gel I just put on my face all over, just a little bit of moisturization. If you do moisturize before you start, do it at least 15 to 20 minutes before so it fully absorbs into your skin, and then you're not putting your makeup right on top of a layer of moisturization. Since using this cream makeup, it really seals everything in. My skin is not nearly as dry. I only need to moisturize at night before bedtime. And then in the morning, before I put my makeup on, like I said, I just do a quick layer of this all over. I don't necessarily need a primer. If you do, feel free to use one. Make sure it doesn't have silicone in it because our creams and silicone are like vinegar and oil. The makeup will sit on top and not ever get to absorb in. So if you've used a primer, you've tried this out, and your makeup's not sitting right, it could be because you have silicone in that primer. So let's get started. No more talking from Christy. Like I said, this side's already done, and I like to do the whole thing first and let that warm up to the temperature of my skin, and then it's a lot easier to blend. I much prefer using brushes. I feel like I blend better when I do. A lot of people prefer this Cheetah Method. So it's, again, all in preference. So the first way I start, and I've already done it over here, this is our line brush. You just need a flat angled end, and then this end is a spoolie end to really shape your brows. So this is the first way I start. And I use my contour to do this. And I need to look at the mirror behind me a little too. I'm not crazy about what I do with my brows. Some people are. Again, like I said, you customize this to you, but please know when I color matched you that I looked at the color of your brows when I decided what contour shade to recommend for you. So everything is so versatile. Go ahead and try your contour to line and shape and fill your brows, especially as we get older, ladies. Such an important step because our brows thin and they fade, and they really frame in our face. So take the 30 seconds to just frame them in. If you've not done anything before, just know you don't have to go crazy. Just do a little bit, and I promise you that little bit will go such a long way. And remember, your eyebrows are sisters, they're not twins. Don't go crazy trying to get this just right. They don't have to match exactly. But that's it. That little 30-second step just frames everything in, and your face is good to go. So many options with brushes. I'm going to show my favorites, but I'll walk you through what to do depending on what brush you have. So my favorite to apply contour is our detail brush. I have either recommended if you're to apply your highlight and contour, either the 3D brush or the detail brush. So I'm going to apply my contour with this to demonstrate. And I like that flat end because you can really sculpt out those cheekbones. If, however, you got the 3D brush, what you can do instead is really squeeze that like that to get your contour, and it's going to create the same effect to do that. So a lot of questions people have is, what if I only have one brush? How do I do all these colors? So if that's the case, you want to start light and go dark. Start with your lightest shades and go towards your darker shades. And it really does pretty much, the brush pretty much just picks up the last color that you're dipping it into. Also, you do want to dab, not swipe, or you're going to be picking up too much and you're going to run out of product way too quickly. So for that cheekbone contour, you want to feel where that is, and it's usually the top of your ear, and then just barely hug underneath of that cheekbone and bring it in towards the outer corner of your eye. Now, if you're wanting to sculpt out cheekbones and slim your face, this is the method you're going to use. If you want a little rounder look, you can do almost like a Nike symbol. So if you already have an elongated face and you want to add a little fullness there, you want to do more like a Nike symbol like this. So still using that detail brush, now I'm going to do my contour along the top here. So these are all creams. Your contour is not as creamy as your highlight colors. So sometimes it's a little harder to get it on your brush, and that is completely normal because we want our contours to stay right where we put them. The highlights we want to blend into our skin because they're our foundation shade. The contours are a little thicker or not as creamy because they're meant to stay right where you put them. If you're having trouble getting it on your brush, or especially in the winter time when it's cold, you can just run a blow dry over it for like 5 seconds just to warm it up a little bit. So I did right across my forehead here. Make sure you bring that up into your hairline so you don't have a white line, a definition there. And then I just hugged right under my jawline here. And that will really shape your chin, chisel that out, especially if you have double chins. Now another trick, see how we all get this, or maybe you don't, I do. I get this little pouch, my little turkey gobble gobble. Another trick you can do is just add that shadow right there to create an illusion that you don't have it anymore. Now, if your face is one color and your neck is another, because sometimes we're really good about applying sunscreen and sometimes we're not, but you don't want to have what we call a floating head. You don't want your face to be a different color. So if your face is lighter or vice versa, if your neck is lighter, a lot of times our neck is lighter because our face blocks the sun from getting it. So if your neck is lighter, you're going to want to just bring your contour down just a touch on both sides. You could also do this with your bronzer. I'm pretty even, but when you look in the mirror, you'll be able to tell right away. If your neck is lighter, go ahead and bring that on down so that you don't have a floating head. You don't want that. Okay, so this, you can determine how thick or how wide you want that. If you have a straight line of bangs, you can skip that step altogether. It just customize it to you. But the contour is adding natural shadowing back in where we already have it. It's creating dimension so we don't just put one color of foundation all over our face. That's the whole theory behind this 3D makeup. So I already have it here, and I already dotted it along my forehead, and I already dotted it under here on this side where I'm doing the cheetah hack. I now like to do my main shade next. So I already have that dotted, and it's really hard to see because this main shade should pretty much blend in with your skin, and that's why it's not really sticking out too much. Now, if you can see it, don't be alarmed. As you blend it in, it's going to blend like butter. So, which brush do I want to show you? I'm trying to think of how to best show you so that it's versatile for you. So if you got the 3D brush and you just did this with the contour, you can use this end to apply your main highlight, and especially in here where you can get a little closer. If you got the blush and bronzer, This is our lightest coverage. I like to do this end to apply my main highlight. If you only have one brush, then you're going to do all this with your fingers, dotting it on, and then I like to use this end to blend. If you have the detail hack or the detail brush, this end I really like to do underneath my eyes because it forces a light hand, but it's a little difficult to do all of this because it's so small. So if you got the detail brush, what you might want to do for your main is dot it on and then blend it in afterwards. So I'm going to show you with the 3D brush, and I'm just dabbing in here. Like I said, don't swipe. So something that is really important for you to know with your highlights, less is more. Your highlights are your main shade. So you have a main highlight and a brightening highlight. The main highlight is what you're going to apply where I am right now, and you don't need much. Don't put this on like you did your old makeup because you're going to feel heavy and oily and greasy. So if you do feel that way, you need to use a whole lot less. And sometimes what helps if you're using too much with brushes is to try this method and then blend because it forces a lighter hand. So as you can see, I'm barely putting much on, but they're so pigmented that the coverage is amazing. So I'm applying that main all over. Now, if you have mature skin like I do, and you have any texture, under eye wrinkles, fine lines, anything like that around here, you're going to want to do your main underneath your eye. And then I'll show you where to apply your brightening highlight. And I'm barely putting any on. Again, less is more. It does not take much. And I have a little bit of redness on the sides of my nose, so I'm going to put a little there too. So I pretty much have my main highlight everywhere I need it. I do like to do a quick sweep of it over my eyelid, and that helps create a base before I do my eyeshadows. Also, sometimes this is all I do, and I don't do eyeshadows at all. And often we have like little veins or redness on our eyelids. This just helps even all that out and helps you look more awake. If you don't want to do eyeshadows, you can do just that and then put your finger in your contour and just apply that to your lower lid, and that's all you would have to do. You can also use the line brush with the contour and line your eyelash or your upper and lower lash line. So everything is so versatile. So I have my main everywhere I need it. And now I need to do my brightening highlight, and that's going to go in the center of your eye or center of your face. It's going to give you that light bulb, that glow from within, and create the dimension that we want with this 3D makeup. So we're not all one flat color. So I already have it here. You're going to do your T-zone, and then I'll show you where to do it under your eye. So I already have it on this half. Kind of hard to split your T-zone with just one side, so I went ahead and did it right down the middle there. Now, if you are younger or have really nice skin, you can do your brightening highlight under your eye, but don't stop there. You don't want the raccoon, and then bring it down towards your outer nose. So you're going to do a pie shape like this. If, like I said, if you have under eye wrinkles and texture like I do, you don't want to be too light all over here because it's going to draw more attention to your eyes. Now, I've already taken this into consideration when you send your selfie so that I don't go too light of a color. If you're younger, you can add a lot more pop in that central location. If you're older, we don't want to draw attention we don't want to draw attention to those fine lines and wrinkles. So what we're going to do is just brighten the inner corner and lift the outer corner. There's no makeup in the world that's going to get rid of wrinkles. And if anybody has told you that or promised you that, they're lying and you're wasting your money. So what we can do instead, though, is not feature those areas. So if you're using the 3D brush, you want to flip to the cone-shaped end, barely tap into that brightening highlight, and apply it on the inner corner just to make your eye more awake, and then the outer corner right up like this. I actually prefer to do this with this end of my detail brush. So if you have this brush, this is perfect because it really forces a light hand. Less is more. You don't want this settling in your fine lines and wrinkles. So if you're feeling that it is, you need to use less. And I actually did not add a dot there with the Cheetah hack, so I'm going to go ahead and do it with my brush. And then I need to finish out my T-zone on this side since I already did it on the other. And again, you're just doing the T and then right down the middle. And that's it. Next, we need to do our lip and cheek color. I already did it with my finger over here. If I do it with the brush, with this one, I'm going to use the bigger end. For me, I like a darker color on my cheeks than my lips, but if you only got one color, then you're going to want to do both. It's versatile. This is a lip and cheek color, so you can do both your cheek and your lips. So I'm using this. See how it's just picking up that little bit of color that I just tapped it into. If you're using a brush, you want to just go right above where your contour is. So I pretty much use the same method. If I'm doing that 3D brush, I'm going to squeeze it so it's like my detail and put it right above and then lift up. So here's another cheek placement tip for you. We were always taught to smile and put it right here. If you want the appearance of fuller cheeks, that's a great method. If you want it to look lifted as we age and we droop, if you want it to look lifted, you actually want to go 2 finger widths. Don't go in too far, and then lift it up towards your temple. So let me tap that in just a little bit more towards the center and up. And again, I already have it here to make it lifted. I should probably add another one right there. I like to line my lips with my contour first before I put my lip color on. So I'm going to use that same line brush that I did my brows, tap right into my contour and line my lips. You don't have to do this. However, as we get older, our lips, the definition there tends to fade. And then what can happen is our lip color can bleed into our skin. So this is one way to help seal that in so it doesn't fade out. So if you don't have, this is the multitasker. If you don't have it, you can just use your finger and apply. I have all the brushes, I love to use them, so I shall demonstrate. This is Desert Sunset and our multitasker brush. I like the warmth and the definition that eyeliner or the contour gives. But again, if you don't like that look, you can skip it. You do you, I'll do me. We'll all be one big happy family. Okay, so everything's on and it's now time to blend. One other thing, if you do need color correction, this makeup does help with that, but a lot of times I don't initially start you with that unless you try it and you need a little bit more help. For example, some people have really dark under eye circles and they need more color correction. So if you try this out and you feel like you still need a little more, just message me and let me know. Another thing that you can color correct if you have a lot of blemishes. I don't get them often, but if that's something that you struggle with, message me and I can make a suggestion for sure. But chances are this is Aspen and this is like magic for blemishes. So it has a green undertone to it, and on the color wheel, green cancels out red. So I'm just barely adding that the smallest amount possible to neutralize that redness. Now, if you have acne or blemishes, nothing's going to get rid of the texture of that, but you can neutralize the red color of it so that it doesn't draw attention to it. So if you need more help in that area, again, just message me and let me know. So everything is done. We just need to blend. Again, it depends on what brush you have. Over here, if you just have one brush, whatever it is, that's what you're going to use. So if you have the 3D brush, I like to use the bigger end to blend all that in. If you have the blush and bronzer, that would be this one. Then you can again use either end. This is going to be more medium coverage and this is going to be lighter coverage. So you can customize it to you and decide which look you like better. If you have mature skin, like even mature, more mature than me, 50s, 60s, I might have recommended the buff brush for you. And this is going to give you fuller coverage. So you would want to blend all this in with that bigger end and then switch to that smaller end and really work it in under your eyes in the smaller areas. So again, it just depends on what brush you have. But there's so many different ways to use them, but I like to at least start you out knowing what options you have. Otherwise, it's a little overwhelming. So I'm just barely, you can figure out how you like to do this best. Some people like to do swirls. If you notice though, I'm leaving this. I like to do that last. And again, if you're blending with just one brush, you want to start at the lightest and go to darkest. However, half the time I don't remember that, but you'll see it doesn't blend into each other. So I'm going to flip to this end to get right underneath my eyes, that smaller area. Now when I'm doing a whole face, I usually do my eyeshadows first and then my makeup, just to clean up anything around there or if there's any fallout. Switching back to this end, like I said, I do my contour last. And especially don't go down or it's going to look really muddy and dirty. You're going to push that up and don't overblend. So 2 common mistakes. You put too much of your main highlight on or too much of your brightening highlight under here and it feels heavy and oily and cakey and you get everything settling in your fine lines. So less is more with your highlights, your foundation. For this though, the other common mistake is to overblend that contour. So don't be afraid. I know you're not used to putting that on, and when you first do it looks really dark. But remember, everybody's taking your whole face in. They're not like staring at your cheek, and you're contouring that out. And then you just want to marry those 2 colors together a little bit, and that's it. On this side, same thing. You could use this. I'll demonstrate using the blush and bronzer in case that's what you have. Now, you may also contour your nose. A lot of people like to do the flat end of the multitasker, and what you want to do is really close on either side of the bridge of your nose using your contour. You can also put your fingers in your contour, rub them together, and then right down either side of the bridge of your nose. Go as close as you can. Most of the time I skip that step. Again, you are going to customize this to you. Just make sure you're doing a really narrow. If you do it wide, it's just going to make your nose wider. If your goal in contouring your nose is to make it look slimmer, then you want to go really slim, as close as you can between there, and then your brightening highlight right down the center in between. So just like I did the other side, I'm blending everything together, but leaving that for last. On your chin, you want to blend that down. And now this is the last thing I do. Like I said, push that straight up and don't overblend. And that's that. Your face now has dimension. You're glowing, that youthful glow. Last step you need to do, if you don't have this Perfector sponge, you might want to consider getting this, especially if you have mature skin. You need to wet it first. Squeeze it out, wet it again, squeeze it out. It needs to be damp or it's just going to pick everything right back off because it's a sponge. That's what it does. But if you have mature skin, especially right under your eye, you need to really press and seal all of that in. I love the sponge. It'll pick up any excess if you were too heavy anywhere or if you're oily. Just dab that all over for a final blend and it really gives almost like that natural looking finish. And then if you have our setting spray, you want to shake that really good. And you can either apply it straight to your face in an X. You actually want it almost dripping wet. That's how it should be. Or you can spray right onto your sponge and then dab that all over. Just like such. If you like setting powder, we do have a vanilla setting dust. You may use that too. And it's magnetic, fits right in your compact just like everything else. So that's the beauty of all this. You can have it all in one compact. That is it, friends. Our faces are done. We've simplified our routine to put it all in one magnetic compact that is super easy to fly with. I'm going to do a demo of my eyes and record that also. If you would like that demo, please just comment and message me back and say you'd like it, and I'll send it to you. Like I said, I do my shadows on the second layer. If you have an illuminator or glow, I like to apply that with my third finger so it's light. And then just right above your cheekbone, it just gives that subtle, it's beautiful. It really ups your makeup game and that quick, easy step. So it's not this like, oh, there's her illuminator. It just barely catches your eye. You can also add it right under your brow bone, anywhere you want to reflect light. And then right down the center of your nose, especially if you contoured it, this really helps make it look even slimmer. You can also add that to one of your lip colors. The sky's the limit. Play around, have fun. Remember, less is more, and don't overblend that contour. If you have any questions, this is my job. I absolutely love it. I'm here to help. If you need anything, just reach out. You get a one-on-one makeup artist at your dispense. So have fun, enjoy, play around. There's a little bit of a learning curve. When I first started, I felt it on my face. Didn't feel heavy, but I could feel it. But then within a couple applications, I completely got used to it. My skin got used to it. So enjoy and have fun, and then check yourself out in the mirror and love what you see. Bye, ladies.